Let me go grab my cup.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Tea Time with Uncle Twirl, where what's in your mug is your business. I'm your host, Uncle Twirl. Guys, we have a very special guest joining us for Tea Time today. I'm very excited to have you here because something I really wanted to talk about is the education system. If you've been watching the news, if you have a social media handle, if you are, an aware person, there's been lots of initiatives being passed on changing DEI efforts in education and banning books and taking certain things out of curriculum. And so I was like, I want to talk about it, and I need an expert. I need a subject matter person. And joining us today, educator extraordinaire, TikTok sensation, feelings frontiersman, and clearly aging backwards. I'm so fucking jealous. Cedric Slay is here, everybody. Welcome.
Thank you.
Cheers, my brother. How are you?
Cheers.
Well, let me. All right, y'all.
Thank you.
Make sure y'all sip along. But yes, welcome. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. Dealing with some allergies right now, but I'm good.
Let me tell you, 'tis the season.
I know.
I hate it.
It is. I do too.
People be like, I can't wait for it to get warm. I'm like, but the tree's gonna wake up.
I know.
Okay.
Exactly.
I saw a dogwood on my way here, and I was like, oh my god, it's starting. It's starting. Thank you so much for joining. Before we jump into the interview segment, we like to play a few games here at Tea Time, and so let's get into it.
All right.
Okay. First up. We're gonna do a sip and spill, which is our rapid fire round.
Okay.
I'll be giving you options. You'll pick one. If you don't want to choose, you can feel free to take a sip.
Okay.
But here we go. Okay. Savannah or Atlanta?
Savannah.
Okay, of course. Look. Chili or T-Boz?
T-Boz.
Oh, I like the rasp too. Okay.
Yeah,
Look, we love you, Chili. Don't look. Documentary or movie?
Documentary. I love documentaries. Love documentaries.
Look, that's the education. Lemon pepper wet or dry?
Wet.
Period. Y'all dry people be a little different.
Okay.
Real Housewives or Married to Medicine?
Real Housewives. Yeah,
I
Real
love
Housewives.
Hey, Heavenly. Fedora or bucket hat?
Bucket hat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Christmas or Halloween?
Oh, that's a hard one. Hold on. I would actually say Halloween.
Same.
Yeah.
Like,
I work in an elementary school, so Halloween is always a good time at an elementary school. So
yeah.
Halloween.
I love Halloween. I feel like it's the best holiday. You get to dress up, be somebody else. Kind of explore that. Look, good choice. Prince or Michael Jackson?
Michael Jackson.
Period. Family Matters or The Cosby Show?
Cosby Show.
Janet Jackson or Donna Summers?
Janet.
Period.
I'm a huge Janet. Yeah, everybody that knows me knows I am a huge Janet fan.
Love
Janet,
her.
if you watching this, call me.
Call them, and then call me next. We would love to have you on. Okay, cool. Look, you got through that easy. You didn't have to sip. I almost got you that Christmas Halloween.
I know. That was a hard one, a hard choice.
Okay, so the next game, look, I'm gonna put my phone down because I need my hands free. The next game we're playing, now for some of you may know this, we used to play this back in the day in my youth when I was a wee youth. It's called Hands Up to 85. Okay. It basically is a rhythm game where you pick a topic and you have to name things within that topic within the rhythm. If you miss the rhythm or hesitate, you are out of the game, you lose that round. So we're gonna try that, okay?
All right.
Now clap with me, y'all, if you get the rhythm, because sometimes, it can be a little challenging. Okay, hands up to 85, gonna get names of school subjects, starting with Cedric, ending with Warren. Okay, good.
Math.
Science.
English.
Social studies.
PE.
History.
Reading.
Art.
Geometry.
I lost. I was like, oh my God, what else did I take? I was going to start naming college courses. I'm like, arithmetic? No, he said math. Damn. Okay, all right, that's fine. He got that first round. We're going to go again. Okay, I think I'm ready. Okay.
All right.
Hands up to 85. Going to get names of school supplies. Starting with Warren, ending with Cedric. Pencil.
Eraser.
Marker.
Highlighter.
Protractor.
Paper.
Ruler.
Crayons.
Notebook.
Glue.
Ouch. Ouch. I lost again. Y'all can tell I don't have kids. I love my nephews, but I'm just, I don't be packing school book bags. Oh my God, I could have said book bags. It's fine.
Yeah.
You know what? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Fair sport. Okay, great. So now we're warmed up. Okay, let's get into the interview segment. Okay, so let's get a little background before we
Okay.
dive into education. Where were you born and raised, and what is one of your favorite childhood memories?
All right. Well, my dad was in the military, in the army, so we moved around a lot when I was born, when I was a kid. So I was born at the base in Savannah, Hunter Army Airfield. Then we lived in Fort Benning in Columbus, back to near Savannah, Fort Stewart in Liberty County. Then went to Panama, Delaware, Dover Air Force Base, and then when my parents divorced, we moved back to the Savannah area, and so I went to high school and college there.
Okay.
So kind of all over, a little bit all over, mainly in Georgia, but a few other places as well.
Well, Panama
But-
sounds kind of lit.
Yeah, we were only there for a year, but it was. I enjoyed. I was a kid, so I enjoyed the warmer weather. But we were there during the Noriega time, so we couldn't really explore the country because they were doing a lot
Right.
of demonstrations and riots and
Right,
stuff like
right,
that.
right.
But it was still a fun experience.
That's crazy though, like as a kid to be there in a moment of history like that.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
that is really, really cool.
Yeah.
It's funny, shout out to the veterans. Y'all know I'm a veteran, so thank you for your service to your
Yeah,
dad.
yeah,
All right, we
yeah.
appreciate y'all.
And my favorite childhood memory is just growing up on a military base and living in military housing. Everybody that you go to school with lives pretty much around you. So
Right.
just being able to like get on your bike and go to a friend's house and like there was a meme like back in the day you can see where everybody was at because all the bikes were in the yard. That's literally like how it was. So just being able to go, the people that your friends you went to school with,
Right, right.
and go to their house and hang out and stuff just made it really fun.
Right, it really
fun.
builds real community.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
when I was in the Air Force, like not that many people lived on base housing. It
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
wasn't as popular, but the people that did, you could tell they like really were like a
Yeah,
community.
yeah.
Very cool. Okay. Next up, how long have you been a school counselor? Did you always want to be in this field? And the favorite thing about your career?
Well, I've been in education for 26 years, a long time.
Oh, gee.
Yeah, a long time. I've been a school counselor for 17 years, and then 9 years I taught. I
Okay.
taught second grade for 5 years and fourth grade for 4 years, and then became a school counselor. So I love it. It's not what I always wanted to do. When I was in college and undergrad, I wanted to. Well, I'll back up. When I was in high school, I wanted to host a morning show,
Period.
like Today Show, something like that.
Like it's giving. I can see it. Like,
Yeah, I wanted to host like a morning show, but I had an accent, and so I was like self-conscious of my accent and
Right,
everything
right.
like that. And so, but I still wanted to do something to help people, and I was in a lot of plays. I was a drama kid in high
Okay,
school,
okay.
and so one time we we performed for an elementary school, and I just really liked the interactions we had with the kids and working with them. And so I was like, you know what, I think I want to be a teacher. And so my mom was a school counselor.
Okay.
And so when I went to undergrad, my ultimate goal was to become a principal. But then when I started teaching, no. People, with my job, at least I work, primarily I'm working with kids.
Right.
And so with kids, they do things, they're kids, so you understand.
Right.
But the stories I hear from my, well, you were in the military, but
Yes.
even for other friends that they work with all adults, adults, y'all are a trip.
Okay,
So,
well, you got to see behind the curtain. You're like, no, thank you. Close it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I started teaching, I didn't want to be a principal when I saw everything they had to deal with and the people they had to deal with.
Right.
But working with the kids, I wanted to do more to help kids and also help their families. And so when my mom being a school counselor, and the time that I taught, my mom we worked at the same school.
Gotcha. Oh,
And
that's
so,
cool.
Yeah. So I was able to see a lot the things that she does
Right.
as a school counselor, and so that made me want to go back to school to get my counseling degree. And,
Gotcha.
my county was kind of small back home, so I was open to moving anywhere in Georgia, and I never wanted to live in Atlanta, but I ended up getting a job up here. So.
Well, look, welcome to my hometown. We're happy you're here.
Yeah.
Look, we didn't run you off yet. Okay.
I know, right?
Okay. So for those of you who don't know, Cedric, you have like a pretty big following on TikTok. You know what I'm saying? You're kind of famous. I love your content. I think it's like super funny. Like any adult that's ever worked with other people in any kind of like setting, whether that's corporate in any other field, can definitely relate to your content. You have a really great sense of humor. Like,
Thank you.
it's so funny. Your TikTok videos have garnered over 3 million likes. Over 3 million. 3 million, y'all. Okay. What part does comedy and humor play in your work? And why do you think so many people have gravitated towards your content?
I'm an introvert at heart, but I've always been a funny person. Like my family, I've had friends and coworkers and like, oh, you're really funny, but I didn't think I was all that funny because I have family members and stuff that are way funnier than I
Right.
am. And so humor's just always been a part of like my family when we all get together, just laughing, having a good time, and even with my close friends. And so how I got started on TikTok was during the pandemic. I was, home
Look.
and just I was, when TikTok started becoming popular, I was like, oh, I know I'm not gonna add. The last thing I need is another social media app on my phone. And so being at home, and I was just like, well, let me check out and see what it is about.
Right.
And started off just watching a lot of videos, and then made a few, and then started making some more, and then people started liking, and next thing you know, it just kind of took off.
Right.
And so it's still surprising and shocking to me that so many people like my humor and like my page. So I'm grateful for it. And so people get to see that other side of me
Right.
that maybe if they know me personally, they don't really see. But it's just who I am and just putting it out there for others. And I always tell people, like, if you're interested in TikTok or social media, whatever you want to do, just make it. The content, somebody wants to see it. So
Facts.
it just takes time. And I've had people too, like, well, they think that it's something that happened overnight. I literally got on TikTok like probably the end of March, early April 2020.
Right.
So 4 years to
Right.
get where I am
Right.
now. So it takes time, but somebody out there is going to watch it. Someone out there is going to like it, and someone out there is going to follow you. So just keep doing with your content. There's an audience for it. So keep going. But
y'all better be listening. You better look consistency and like don't give up.
Yeah.
To your point, like everyone, it's funny. A lot of people feel like, oh, but so many people are doing something. You are an individual. Your lane is yours.
Yeah.
Put the work out there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we
yeah.
all have to start somewhere. So like the same with you with your YouTube show and your platform. Like
Right.
we all have to start somewhere. So you're not going to start off with getting 10,000 plus followers or whatever the first video that you put out
Facts.
or a million likes. It takes time. So keep going. So it still blows my mind that like I have
Right.
3 million likes or that
Yes.
so many people like my sense of humor.
Right.
But I think humor, especially in these last few years, is what we need, considering everything that's going on in the
Amen.
world. And so I think that kind of has helped people gravitate towards my content, not just my content, but the content of others too.
Right.
And I just try to make stuff that people can relate to, whether you're
facts.
a teacher, an educator, someone you've worked with people, is something that you can relate to.
You can absolutely relate. I have so many of
Yeah.
my friends that are educators. They're like, oh my God, I follow him.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
content's so relatable because this is what it's like. I got a
Yeah,
coworker like
yeah.
that. I have students like that. And so, yeah.
Yeah,
It's really dope. I definitely think to your point, when times feel so dire, people kind of turn to like, light sources or levity. And you definitely provide that
Yeah.
on your page. So
Thank you,
I
thank
love it. Okay. So we spoke about this a little bit earlier when I started the show. Education has been under attack by opposition attempting to stifle different DEI initiatives. They're trying to ban books, things like this. I know you have a book drive for your counseling program. Have your students been impacted by any of these changes? Have you seen any of or experienced any of like the effects of like some of those initiatives?
Yeah, just as a whole, a lot of things that's going on with education, when these politicians try to put things into place, most of them have never stepped foot in the school, probably since their child was in school or
Right.
whatever. And a lot of them probably hadn't even been in a public school.
Right.
And so it affects our students, our staff, the parents. I was just having a conversation with our media specialist about a bill that's here in Georgia where they're trying to, with library books and banning
Right.
different books and things
Right.
like that. The counselors, we had a bill that they wanted to get chaplains in the school, like clergy members in the school to be a counselor, a backup counselor. And so we were like, wait, we had to go to school, get a degree,
Right.
have trainings, and
Right.
you're just gonna get someone to come in
Right.
not knowing what they're telling kids and
Right.
stuff like that. But luckily the bill died in committee, so it didn't get past that. But there's a lot going on, and you have to be a informed voter,
Right.
an informed citizen to know what's going on, whether you have kids or not. Everybody needs to know.
Right. Because it does affect all of us, which is really interesting because, we talk a lot about the separation between church and state, especially in schools. I remember like growing up saying the pledge. I know a lot of people,
Yeah.
they don't do that anymore. They
Yeah.
don't say one nation under God because, we live in a country where people are allowed to, express and believe what they want under their constitutional rights. And so that's really interesting that they were trying to bring in specific types of like religious representation. Yeah, I'm glad that did not happen.
Yeah. And with diversity, I mean, I know I've looked at books that they've banned in other states, and there was a TikTok, I think someone listed all the books that were banned in a particular state, and I was like, half of these books I use with my students. Like I believe in using, I loved reading as a kid, so I believe in, and when I go to each class during lessons, I like to use different kind of books, and I like to use books that look like my students.
Hello.
And so representation matters.
It does.
Especially as a child. And so I think diversity is very important, not just for you to see somebody that looks like you, but also for you to see other people who don't look like you. Because for a lot of people, if you come to school, that the only interaction you have with other races are probably when you're at school.
Facts.
You know, a lot of people do have friends of various backgrounds and everything, but some people don't. And so when you're with another white person or African American or Hispanic, it's probably at school. So just seeing that means a lot to kids or whatever. It means a lot to kids. So I hate that all of these legislatures are doing things to try to ban diversity and not talk about equity and things like that because it's needed. It's needed.
And it's kind of like, how do you want me to be engaged? You want me to care about the subject? You know, it's hard enough like engaging students, right? I think I've been seeing a lot of educators do TikToks about like how kids can't even read. Like a lot of them are not on their reading level, they cannot read. And it's like, you want kids to be engaged, but like, if you're teaching me subject that one, I don't see myself in, I don't see my friends in, I don't see like even people that are in my community, they're not rooted in this work, in this education system, why would I buy in? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so cut that shit out. Okay. Okay, next question. Okay, we talked about this a little bit, you know, being an informed voter, buying in, you know, supporting and understanding, you know, what's going on in your community. What are some of the obstacles that you think impact or hinder students' ability to thrive in the school most? What are some things parents and other people who are not parents, just supporters, can do to help support students and educators?
There's a lot of obstacles I think that parents are facing and students as well. Just the last 4 years alone with the pandemic going on, like I know for myself, the loss I've experienced and the loss of some of my friends, some of my friends and their families have experienced. And so kids are facing this too. And so one thing that we've noticed that I've noticed the last few years is that we get a lot of students entering kindergarten that's never been in school before. Like no daycare, they just been at home because of the pandemic. You know, the pandemic and daycares were closed and things like that. And so coming into kindergarten and you've never been around other kids and you've never been in school it takes them a long time to adjust. A long time to adjust. So we've seen that. The sense of community among people is not like how it used to be. Like if your family, like when my parents divorced, my uncles helped us, my mom's friends, until my mom was able to get back on her feet and everything. But now people look at the school for like support for everything. Before people may have looked towards the church or their family or other things, they look for the school for everything, And even, I've had conversations with parents too where I'm like trying to help them and tell them things to do because they don't have that support from
they don't have the resources.
Friends. They don't have the resources, they don't have the support from family or friends or whatever. So they depend on the school for a lot of things. The kids are pretty much still the same. Kids are kids. I started teaching in '98, and kids are pretty much still the same.
Consistent.
It's just they're consistent. Of course, social media too is a big thing, and I tell parents if you can. I know everybody wants a phone. All kids like to be on apps. But if you could wait till your kid is like 8th or 9th grade, that's a great time. We have first graders with phones and second graders, and you're inviting, when you give your kid a phone, you're inviting the whole world at the palm of their hands, and that's just too much. And I can't tell you the social media issues I've had with elementary kids and everything going on. So if you could wait for your kid to have it, I know they want a phone, everybody wants a phone, but if you could wait till they're like 8th or 9th grade, I think that's a good age.
Because even my nephew, like, you know, he has a phone, you know, he is involved in several different things. Both my nephews have phones, one's a little bit older. But yeah, like bullying has been a big issue. Like some of the things that like my sister has shown me that these kids say, and then like you try to get the parents involved. They're like, oh, well, you know, I don't know. And then the school's like, well, you know, we'll try to like set something up. It becomes very difficult. It can get very messy, especially because he was being bullied by kids that don't even go to his school. Like I knew my bullies. Okay, sometimes we rode the bus together. Okay, now you get bullied by somebody. I'm like, you live in Kansas. Why are you talking to me? Leave me alone. Like, and to your point, I just remember what I was like as a kid. Like, I don't think my brain, I can really understand or process a lot of the things they're exposed to, like you were saying, in the palm of their hand. And so, they don't really need a
And
phone.
parents are, a lot of times, when I call parents about things that's going on with kids and their phones, parents are unaware. They didn't even know their kid was on the site. They didn't even know they were doing this. So I think just being more, parents need to be a little bit more hands-on and stuff with their kids. And then just also be more supportive of the school and work with the school.
Right.
I loved school as a kid and growing up, so school was always like a happy place for me. It wasn't perfect. I mean, I was really shy, and I think most people have been bullied at some point, but I still had my favorite teachers, my friends, and things like that I enjoyed being with. But some people did not have that experience. So
Right.
when their kids are in school, they're already coming in with like, well, you know, these
Biases.
teachers,
Right.
biases and things like that. So just being open-minded, knowing that the school is there, we want to work together to help your child. That's the thing that we have in common.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be the parent, like the room parent, like always coming in, bringing stuff in, because these days people have to work.
No,
So
they
I
do.
understand that.
Multiple jobs.
But the support, whether you can just be a phone call or a text away and things like that, is important too. So just like a teacher knowing that, hey, I can call you, or you can even call me, is important as well.
Right. You have got to be involved. And I know it's hard. Like, you know, we say that all the time, but like, it's serious. Like, you have, no one's going to care more than you about your kid, their education, their well-being. And that's just what it is. Like, and so,
come to the school. Call. I tell my parents all the time, call the school, call the board, call the counselor, come up to the school, be visible. Be visible so that they'll know that you play an important part in your child's life. And even if you don't have kids, because a lot of my friends and family, if they don't have kids, I always tell people, if you're friends with me, you're helping me with what I do. Because as a school counselor, it's not just a job. It's like a calling that I do. And so I have my friends, when I do my book drive, they know, okay, you can donate something, buy a book. If you want to come read, come do that. But we need support from everybody, not just if you have kids or your kids are grown too. Buy a book, donate school supplies, donate even clothes, things that you don't think that we need, like socks and underwear and undershirts for kids, for little kindergartners when they have accidents, and extra clothes. Like, we need those things in school. So donate what you can, and your time too, if you can.
In fact, if there's a school you drive by every way on a day to work, just stop by. Y'all need anything? Y'all good?
Yeah.
Huh? Some donuts?
Yeah.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
for real. Yeah. We got to do a better job of like really, because, you know, as they say, the kids are the future.
Yeah, they are.
That's what they say. And y'all, the future. Okay, if you want, you have to live with them when they grow up. So think about it.
Okay.
Okay, if you could change one thing about our current education system, what would it be and why?
Oh, that's a great question. I feel like when the pandemic started and everything like was turned upside down, that was a great opportunity to change a lot of things, especially education.
Right.
And it kind of started so where people was like working, like I know my county, we did like 4 days in the building, and then on Fridays, teachers and students worked from home and other things. But then as time went on, everybody went back to the same thing. So I just really hate that it happened like that, because I feel like that was a great opportunity to say, hey, we're starting over, let's change. I feel like we should incorporate more of the arts in education instead of cutting back, because a lot of school systems are cutting back, and states are cutting back like music programs and things like that. But the arts, it's been proven that students involved in the arts, they do a lot, and they end up being great students. It helped them not only academically but socially as well. But involving more of the arts, more technology, more involvement from like community partners and businesses. Because a lot of businesses, they want to support, but like we need like time, we need money, we need things like that. So more support for businesses as well. And just taking a look at the way that the education system is now, getting input from teachers and other educators, and even from parents too, and going towards that instead of people at the Gold Dome here or the state capitol who've never been in a school. Just incorporating that, and more, even more of the kids' input on how they learn. We all learn differently. So, you know, you could be a hands-on learner, you could learn verbally or whatever, but just thinking about all the students we have and working with them. And then also more mental health for students. More,
especially in these times.
Yeah.
Like we needed it before, but things have been hard.
Yeah.
They see a lot. To your point, they have access to more things. Yeah, absolutely. It's funny. In my district, a teacher, he just won one of the seats on like the Board of Education, and I think he's like one of the first, like in our county. Because to your point, like it's very easy, and we see this oftentimes, no matter what arena you work in. People at the top that don't do your work, have never involved in your work, can't really tell you their day-to-day, don't even engage with like, your primary clients, subjects, students, etc. They make a lot of the decisions and they are far removed. And oftentimes they're not beneficial. They're not helpful.
True.
And so you definitely need to incorporate more, voices from people who are actually on the ground, boots on the ground. You know what I'm saying?
True.
So yeah,
That's true.
I feel that. Look, let me find out. Look, I might see superintendent in your future. Who knows? Okay. Final interview question. I know, guys. He has things to do. Okay, he's got to go help the kids. I ask everyone this who comes on Tea Time. Give me a question to ask the next person that I interview.
When was the last time you did something fun just for you? I think now because we all, you get, it's so easy to get caught up in the routines of life, or if you have kids, your family. If you don't have kids, even just your family, get caught up in the routine of family, of life, of work, that sometimes you forget about yourself.
Facts.
And sometimes you think that doing stuff for yourself makes you feel guilty for doing things for yourself. But you need to do something fun for yourself all the time. Parks and Recreation was one of my favorite shows.
Great show.
So
Treat
I
yourself.
believe in a treat yourself. Yeah, I believe it. So do something fun for yourself at least twice a month. But I think people get so caught up in things, you really need to just take some time for yourself. So when's the last time you did something fun for yourself?
Facts.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I lied. I have one more question. So in the previous episode, we had J. Rochelle on. And the question that she wanted me to ask the next person is, what's something that's been bringing you joy lately?
That's a good one. That's a really good question. Last year was a tough year for me. I lost my dad, and just some other things going on too. And so it was a tough year. So I wanted to be, this year I said I wanted to be more intentional with spending time with friends and family who, maybe they live far away or I haven't seen them in a long time, but just being more intentional with spending time with them. As I said before, we get so caught up in work and other things that's going on that sometimes we get away from that. And before you know it, it's been a long time before you've seen a friend or something like that. So what's brought me joy is just being doing that, being intentional with spending time with friends. So even though it's just the beginning of March, I've already had a chance to spend some time with friends. I visited one of my best friends a couple of weeks ago. We were on a break, went to visit him. Another best friend was in town this week. I get to see you today with the show. And so just spending time, being more intentional with that brings me joy. Being with people who like to be with me and I want to be with them. And just having a good time, enjoying each other. Because life is short, guys. Life is short. And so just making sure that you have that time for joy and bringing that joy into your life. And you're responsible for your joy, not anyone else. So,
hey, that's a word. As a street prophet once told me, make sure you love it on the people that's loving on you. Okay? Someone, I was watching this thing, I don't even remember, but this man he was like, who you loving on? He said, hell, I'm loving on who loving on me. And I was like, and that's a word, okay? Y'all better look.
It is.
Spend time with the people in your life that you love, that love you, because, to your point, like, time really can get away from you. And so, you have to like really make an effort to stay connected, especially as you get older and like life gets crazier. Well, Cedric Slay, thank you so much for coming to Tea Time.
Thank you.
If the people want to reach out, if they want more information about how they can support resources, things like that, where can the people find you?
They can find me on all my social media handles. My same name, screen name is Cedric, Cedric 324. So Cedric 324 on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, X. You can find me on there. I know, right? You can find me on there, Cedric 324. But follow me on TikTok if you need a good laugh. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me, Twitter. I talk about a lot of different things on Twitter, so follow me on there too. But Cedric 324.
All right, y'all better follow him. Okay. And as always, y'all know y'all can hit me up on Uncle Twirl on all platforms. That's Twirl with an E. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video. Thank you for joining me for another Tea Time. And as always, remember, feel free to spill the tea, but don't be messy. Bye, y'all.
Bye.